What up, Nine?
Trapaholics Mixtapes.
As the 9% and word would say, make a better you, a better us.
Fuck being rational. Give them what they ask for.
Who do you think you are? I'm the word. Boy, I'm the one who put in the work.
When I move, is it a quick rumble? I will never ever fall, never stumble. And I don't need to be humble. Break down walls like Jericho crumble.
What up, though? It's the word. You see the title. We about to get into it. But before we get into that, do me a favor. Hit that like. And if you new, hit that subscribe, man. It's free to you, but it mean the world to me. And with that being said, let me get it to the chat. Let me get it to the chat. Nee, what up, though? Good to see you, sis. What it do with the business is. Shout out to Nene. Appreciate you, sis. Appreciate you. Dee. What up, though, Dee? Leticia, Pennywise, what it do with the businesses? Hey, man, there's some people on here I've been rocking with since I've been on here. Nene is one. Shout out to Nene. Appreciate you, man. It feels good to see Dee. I see Dee every day, but, you know, uh, every once in a while people come through and they just let you know they're still here, and I appreciate that because y'all familiar faces to me, man, and I appreciate that. Shout out to Leticia, man. Leticia been day one since day one. I always love seeing her beautiful souls, man. Beautiful souls, man. Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. Hey, I got a live set up. I'm gonna try my best to do it tomorrow, but I finally finished it. So if I don't do it tomorrow, I'll definitely do it Wednesday. But I should have time to present it tomorrow. So I got that set up, and we go review the Dark Impact. But my question to y'all is, the motto over here, my mission statement for being on YouTube to keep me focused on my goals is a better you, a better us. Because I don't believe the world is fucked up. I believe the people in it is fucked up, right? So how how can I be? Uh, I always think, how can I make the world better? Well, it has to start with the people, right? So I play my part. I only know what I know. So I share that information. I focus psychology, spirituality, I got tools that I use, and mine is through personal experience. A lot of people go to school and get degrees and all this. I'm telling you from an experience, a practical sense of how I actually use these things and benefited from it. So I share that. I share that information a lot, right? Um, I do have educational experience in different categories. I don't have a degree in philosophy or psychology. I just studied that. That was my core forces in college when I did go to college. I do have a degree in theology though. So, but that ain't really nothing. I don't brag or nothing like that. Like that ain't really nothing. But I do got a PhD in life. I really lived this shit. I really did this shit. I really do it. A lot of times you don't hear me talk about like spirituality because if you don't practice it, you won't even comprehend or let alone understand what I'm saying. Right. And just having conversations with people, I realized that like from a practitioner is the language is different. Think about this. Any field you go in, like Leticia is a nurse, right? She can have a conversation. Like I promise you, when she in the hospital, the terminology, the vernacular that she used is different from when she outside. But if she talked to a common person using that vernacular to use at work, they wouldn't understand what the hell they're saying. Half the time people go to the doctor, they don't even know what the fuck the doctor's saying. You know what I'm saying? And that's how this is. You know, any field you in, it has its own vernacular attached to it, right? Any field, like philosophical terms. Like if I sit up here and use a lot of different philosophical terms, people wouldn't know what the hell I'm talking about, right? They wouldn't know what I'm talking about. So I have to use a terminology that they can conceive, right? Or whatever I'm saying to just go right over their heads. So when we talking about like spirituality, you know, you don't hear me often talk unless I'm talking to somebody who is practicing because now we on the same frequency, we on the same vibe, so they can comprehend and understand what I'm saying, and we can have effective, efficient conversation. But like what I practice, because most people come over here trying to debate. If you can't replicate it, it's like when you practice spirituality is about self. So no, I can't show you spirituality. You can only watch me and see how I handle different situations, and that should give you an understanding of my spiritual practices, right? That's all. The spirituality is about self. It's not nothing on the outside of you. It's everything that it starts from the inside. So explaining like spirituality to a non-practitioner is like a waste of my time. So that's why I don't do that. But philosophy things, I can give you other like when we talk about philosophy, psychology, I can give you examples. I can even help you understand the terminology of the word or the concepts because that is an outside thing. It's a tool we use that was developed on the outside to understand the inside. So philosophy, psychology, even science is just a way to explain what's going on the inside. It is a way, it's things they use to try to explain spirituality, right? Basically, because even psychology means study of the soul. What is the soul? That's the spiritual aspect of you, you know? So when you look at the etymology of psychology, it means study of the soul. That's how it started off. Now it's the study of the conscious mind or the study of the uh, consciousness, not just conscious mind, but consciousness in itself. Even consciousness got levels to it. Subconscious, conscious, and I forgot the third phase, but it's really five. But anyway, um, yeah. So you know that's our motto over here: better use a better. This is how y'all make me better. You know, by asking questions, even challenging my points. I'm not one of them content creators that say believe what I say. No, I want you to challenge me because this is different. This is why I like being challenged. This is different because I practice the shit. I do it for real. You know, I don't need you to believe it. The more you challenge me, it's just a better way I'm gonna be able to articulate myself. You know, because I don't understand how people think or learn or none of that, right? Missing mind, what it do, what the business is. But because I don't know how people, unless I have a conversation with you, I don't know how people download information or assimilate information. I don't know how, unless I have a conversation with you. So by challenging me, it makes me delineate. It makes me be even more concise with the information because through the questions, I understand like the perception of the person, how they're looking at a specific thing. So I might not be explaining it in a way they understand. I can interpret that just from the way people ask questions, right? So I'm not one of them content creators that say believe me. So if I say something, please challenge me. That makes me a better person. You know, that makes me a better person. So what I'm asking is like, what what can I do to help you? You know, because you coming over here supporting, asking questions, you know, that's making me better. So I want to make sure I'm making you better. So a better you is a better us. The better we are individually, the better we are collectively. So if I can do something to help advance you and you keep coming around me, it ain't gonna do nothing but advance me. Right? It ain't no competition over here. I don't need to compete with nobody. I can only compete with myself. See, I'm you can call it arrogant or whatever you want. I don't really truly feel like there's no one on this planet who can compete with me in what I do. I know I'm the best at what I do. That's because I have intent to be the best. That's just how I look at life. So I don't compete with nobody. I don't feel nobody can compete with me. The people better than me in something, they just better. You know, I'm not saying I'm the best in the world at everything. I'm just the best in the world at being me. Oh, go ahead, Nene. Go ahead. Definitely ask the question. Yeah, definitely ask the questions. I love the questions. I love, like I said, it sharpens me. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I can only think the way I think, and I can't think of everything. So sometimes, people give me a new perception or a new way to look at things, and that's like I said, that makes me better because I'm one of them. I'm an overthinker, if that's what you want to call it. I don't really think you can truly overthink. I just think, uh, when people say they overthink, to me, it's just like they can't, um, organize their thoughts. That's what overthinking to me is like non-organization of thoughts. I was just telling my wife that, like, cause she always says she bored, right? I'm waiting for Nini's question. I'm gonna just talk. But my wife always says she bored. And I'd be like, you're not bored. You're just avoiding thinking about things that don't make you feel good. Cause that's what happens when you're bored. That's why people don't like being bored. Listen to what I'm saying. Tell me if I'm wrong. When you bored, meaning your time is not occupied by something, you tend to think things that don't feel good to you, right? And that's why people say they bored and they trying to find something to distract them from those uncomfortable thoughts. But those uncomfortable thoughts is what helps develop you. You know, that's those uncomfortable thoughts. It helps you, problem solve because they're problems, right? This is a problem. That's why it feels uncomfortable. So having those thoughts, can propel you to solve that problem. That's just through experience. 'Cause I used to feel like that. And now I find, so much peace and being solace, just being away from everything and everybody. I love thinking. I feel odd when I'm not thinking. Even when I'm doing something, I'm still thinking about something. Even this right now, like I'm sitting up here talking to y'all, but I'm doing something else on my phone that I'm prepping for tomorrow. I'm prepping a presentation for tomorrow while I'm talking to y'all about this. I have to like multitasking, like they say ADHD, whatever you want to call it. Multitasking to me is a gift. Like when you can think, I feel like I can think on the conscious and the subconscious level. That's how I built myself to do so. Like you almost on two. This getting into the spirituality, right? But it's almost like you're existing on two planes, two separate planes simultaneously. I mean, that's how I function a lot of times. Like my wife can be having a full blown conversation with me, and I can be actively doing something, and she'll say, "What did I just say?" And I can repeat it verbatim, and then I can answer any question while I'm doing. She get mad because she want eye contact. That's how most people feel like somebody. I'm legally blind anyway. No matter if I look at you or not, I can't see. So, Chris, what up, though? Okay, here we go. This is what I was waiting for. Then he said, in this day and age, actually, a lot of religious people and churches are using mixing spirituality and religion. You see, or heart here. I do not like it at all. No, because they're two separate things. One is on the outside. It's like you're trying, like if you think about religion, religion is you're bringing God from the outside of you to the inside, and spirituality is you're bringing God from the inside to the outside. So they two conflicted. Um, they're two different things, and like nobody take this wrong. Everything ain't for everybody, right? It's literally this is just how it is. Like and you can I can I can show you, I can give you points where you can observe exactly what I'm saying, right? We all got our different paths. There's different things that work for us. There's levels to things. So even just saying all that, you get a barometer of what I'm about to say. But everyone isn't capable of having, um, everyone isn't capable of being spiritual. And religion was created for those who don't have that capability. And just even the concept itself, spirituality is always within on the out. Religion is something on the outside of you. You're trying to get the grace, the blessings to the inside of you, right? You bring in something from the outside in. So that itself is just showing two different interpretations or two different methodologies on how the operation works, right? So when you mix them, I don't even see how you do it, honestly. And I'm talking from a practitioner. I practice religion. I practice it, all different forms of religion. I don't consider Buddhism, Taoism, even if you properly, I ain't gonna say properly, but if you practice Islam from a more science temple aspect, it's not a religion. It's a spiritual system. And that's what I practiced from a more science temple. It was not a religion. Not when you practice it. It was a spiritual understanding. It's science. It was literally science. It was all about, like, even when you say jihad, spiritual warfare, that was within. That was you balancing your higher and lower self. That's what jihad. When we practice jihad at the Moore Science Temple, it was the balancing of your lower and higher self. And to explain that in the psychology aspect, it was defining your ego, your instinctive desire, and your super ego, and your conscious, which is your ego. That's all jihad was. And you go through that. That's why I say you go through jihad every day. You you have to consistently balance yourself because of outside stimuli. So things on the outside will affect how you feel on the inside, and you can't allow that. And you're responsible for it. No one else is. No one else is. That's how we practice jihad in the Moorish Science Temple. Now, how the religion do it, honestly, I don't know. I can only tell you what I read and studied. It was more of a physical thing. It was Christians versus Muslims. It was like fighting over the fate of the that's an outside thing. Again, that's the difference between spirituality and religion. And when you begin to mix it, that's when confusion starts, right? That's when people like even every religion has a counterpart, which is a spiritual system. Every religion has it, right? If you look at Christianity, right, they have the Gnostics. If you look at Judaism, they had a Kabbalah, the Kabbalah. If you look at Islam, I think is it Sunni or Sufi. One of them is the spiritual aspect of Islam. So each religion has a spiritual aspect of it, or has a spiritual counterpart, not an aspect, a spiritual counterpart, where it's not something on the outside of you, it's actually on the inside. Oh yeah, and that's because like this is like my thing is I don't truly feel religion is bad. Like I said, everything ain't for everybody. So the people it work for. But I know religious people who are practitioners, right? And it works for them. It makes them better people in life, and you see the results in their life. And then you got some people who just I don't want to say weaponize it. Um, I don't even know better terminology or how to say it. I can't. Like people use it to. It's more like a novelty thing, right? Yeah, I'm this. It's something that they can uh claim, I guess, because they don't really practice it. Most people don't really know to practice it. They don't know. They think it ends at the Bible. Like if you Catholic, man, it's so many dogmas you gotta learn. So it don't stop at the Bible, you know. It's outside teachings. Buddhism is outside teachings from the Torah is other teaching. And to really to really be that or do that, you got to do it, man. I can't say I'm something if I'm not embodying it. That's how I just look at life. Like unless I choose to embody what I'm claiming, I'm not that. That's why I don't put myself in boxes. I don't claim nothing other than what I am. Like when people, I'm a spiritual. Look, I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. That's how I define myself. And people be like, "Oh, what does that mean?" I'm of the Creator. Literally, there's no other way I could put it. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. Riders, what up, though? I think some people definitely weapon. Oh yeah, they do. People definitely weaponize it. Yeah, people weaponize it. All religions, man. I done seen people weaponizing Buddhism. Like, bro, how you do that? Like, how you weaponize Buddhism, bro? Yeah, but that people use it. I mean, that's look. That's what we consider potential, right? Just because something was made for some reason, does not exclude the potential for it to be used for something else. And the two counterparts is good and bad. So I mean, you create a knife to, or you make a knife to cut a steak, but you can use it to cut a person. Like that's just how it is. They make guns to defend, but people use it to attack. I mean, that's just reality. Once something is created, duality exists in it, so it can be used for good or bad, even religion. Spirituality. I see people weaponize spirituality. I seen people weaponize that. Anything that can hurt other people can be used as a tool of destruction. Anything that can heal, I'm pretty sure the counterpart of heal is hurt. So that's how that works out. Riders, what up, though? Commander, what it do? What the business is, man? The minister, the general of defense is in the building. The lady of the nine. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. Yeah, but Nene, it was it was I think it was like last year. One of my nines, Teggy, we had a big discussion about that, like the difference between spirituality and religion, and how people try to mix. That's what voodoo is. If you think about it, voodoo is not an African religion or spiritual system. Not voodoo. Voodoo, and it's another one. Yeah, what's the other one? But voodoo is that's commercialized shit. That's some commercialized shit. Voodoo is commercial. That's why you have like they got saints and angels all mixed into voodoo. That ain't got nothing to do. That's Greek, bro. That ain't got nothing to do with African spirituality, not voodoo. Nah, that ain't got nothing to they mix voodoo and voodoo with Christianity. That's what voodoo is. And they commercialize it. And that was done for a reason, just like when we was talking about Uncle Tom. The reason they turned that into a negative stigma is because it had power in it. And to take the power out of it, you got to take the perception. You got to change the perception of it. Take the power out of the way people look at it. That's like this, like I was saying, like a knife, right? If you only aware that a knife can cut food, you'll never use it to defend yourself. People only can do what they're aware of. That's all people can do. So if I tell you something and twist it, then you only go use it for what I tell you is used for, versus using it for what is actually meant to be used for. So they can't hide the truth. They can't. You can't hide the truth. But what you can do is confuse people about the truth. So they have to give you the truth. They just twist it, turn it upside down, how you looking at it the wrong way. That's why critical thinking is key. Like you have to be able to think for yourself. If you don't think for yourself, then um, somebody gonna be thinking for you. Now I be saying so much subtle shit, and I think that shit be going over people's head. But that's how it be. Lisa J, what it do with the businesses, man? Y'all can definitely drop y'all links, man. There's a lot of great content creators in here. Shout out to Lisa J, the money lady. Y'all want to know about investments? Definitely get over there and check her out. Riders was in the building. What up, man? You know, Riders always bringing in awareness, talking about real things and seeking real solutions, and she includes you in it. So always go over there and check this out because she be doing her thing. Right? And y'all know where y'all can catch Commander at. Y'all can catch her right here. If I ain't running it, she running it. But still go sub up to her, man. Y'all show each other some love, man. Show each other some love. Yeah, but the link is pinned. Is like my question is this, man. What kind of content or what do y'all want to cover? You know, what can I talk about with the knowledge or information or wisdom that I have that can be useful to you? You know, because I think, do y'all think about that? Like, do y'all, like I said, don't practice being bored. Practice being bored and don't be afraid of uncomfortable thoughts, right? Don't be afraid of it. Really start understanding why those thoughts are uncomfortable. And I promise you that'll change your life. If you stop avoiding uncomfortable thoughts and start understanding why it's uncomfortable, it'll change your life. It'll change your life. I promise you it will. So, like my question to y'all is like, what can I talk about? Because I already told y'all what y'all can do. Y'all can ask questions. Y'all can challenge my point. Um, y'all can give insight. You know, give your perspective on whatever I'm talking about. That helps me. You know, information is key to me. Like I wanted to, like I'm a geek, right? Yeah, I'm a nerd. I promise you. Like I'm a nerd. I need to know how things work, right? So even when we say like intellect. I want to know how that works. So, even studying like personality behaviors and all that stuff, I need to know how that works so I know how I work, right? That's why I love like even like the spiritual aspect. Like I tell you how I define myself. I'm a divine being having a human spirit. So if I don't understand my soul, then how am I understand who I am? So I geek out on things like that. So like I want to talk about the levels of intellect, like how you can develop a higher level of intellect. And because I think most people, like, they have a barometer. I forgot who created it. Um, but they have a barometer. It's like 6 levels of intellect. And it's basically how you, um, it's basically how you assimilate information, right? It's levels of how people do it. And most people, unfortunately, they only can regurgitate, meaning they can read and recite, and they think that's a high level of intellect because they can do that on a high level. They can read and recite, but most people don't analyze. Most people don't comprehend. Most people don't. When I say analyze, like this, for instance, if you know a truth, right? Say if you know something is true, how often do you challenge that truth? And how do you know it's true? First of all, how do you even come to a conclusion that it's true? Because a lot of people agree that it's true, or is it something that you experience and you have relative information through that experience that this is true, meaning that you practiced it or you um, experimented with it, right? That's how you come to, but then it's not a truth, it's a fact. Truth is only what people accept. And a lot of people accepted truth until somebody proved it false, like Christopher Columbus finding America. As a kid, that sound like as a kid, I was critical thinking. I was told that when I was 7 years old. And the first question I asked is like, if it was people here, how did he find something? You find something, and then think about this: the word "find," meaning that it was lost. To find something, you have to first say it was lost. But if it's people here, how did he find it? To discover something, it has to be covered. So how can you discover something if there's people already covering the land? None of that made sense to me. And then when I got older, I understood. I understood why they was telling me stuff. They was writing people into a story that they was never part of. Atmosphere, my guy, what it do? Same here, word. I'm just using there for all knowledge. Yeah, man. I be thinking about crazy things, man. Man, some of the stuff I think about, y'all be like, and I'm talking about, I would think for hours about something. And then it's the crazy thing. I think about something so long, I fuck around, get on YouTube, and it's a fucking video about it. And I'm like, that's just how the universe works, man. You literally attract your thoughts. When you pay attention, you're paying with time, right? You're paying with time. That's what attention costs. It costs time, right? But the more you focus on something, the more it's drawn to you. It might be a book, it can be a person you encounter. But if you pay enough attention to something, you're going to get it, whether it's good or bad, right? Whether it's good or bad, because that attention, that time you spend in paying attention to it is drawing it towards you. You're bringing it into you're manifesting it into your experience. I don't want to get all woo woo with y'all. You know, I know some of my people here know what manifestation is, but it manifests into your experience because that's what you're focused on. So that's why I tell people be careful what you pay attention to, because if it's non beneficial to you, you're gonna bring that shit into your life. We are creators. We were told we wasn't, but we ain't. But we are. Think about this, man. Simple explanation. Because when I say we are creators, our thoughts become physical when we do things, right? When we, if I think like, hey, I'm hungry, I get up and cook. That thought became physical. That's how it works. Everything in this physical world first started with a thought. Everything. Somebody was like, God damn, man, I'm tired of walking. Man, if I had this thing that rolled and put it on a wagon, I could, and then they start creating wagons and they created cars. Motherfucker thought they seen a bird flying and looked up and said, damn, look how fast they traveling. They getting that A to B quick. I want to do that. Then they made a fucking airplane. So we bring things into this physical world through our thoughts. So how we think about things gives the manifestation definition. It's how we think about things. But the things we focus on eventually comes into our physical presence. If it's us manifesting it or if I ain't gonna get it to uh, communal manifestation. But that happens too when a lot of people think of one thing, it comes a lot faster. Now, even in the Bible, it say when two or more gather in my name, um, I should. What did it say, Gary? When two or more come in my name, I should get. Wild Heart, what it do? What the business is, man? Hope you been good, man. Ain't hear from you in a while. Hope everything is good with you, brother. Hope everything is good. The universe is listening and watching. Yeah. And man, listen, when it comes to the universe, I'm gonna tell you this. Talk nice to it. That's why I always tell you to talk nice to yourself because the universe don't understand I want or I don't want. It just understand what you're focusing on. So this is why you should always talk nice to yourself and be good to yourself. If ain't nobody else gonna do it, you better do it. Be good to yourself and talk nice to yourself. Because like Commander just said, the universe is always watching and listening. And they don't understand want or don't want. It just understand what you're focusing on. That's all it understands is what you're focusing on. And that's why like this TV programming, listen to what I'm saying. TV programming, all this bullshit y'all watching now. I ain't gonna say y'all, but all the bullshit that's being produced now is fear, anger, pain, all these bullshit ass emotions. And that's what you see the world. And that's what you see in the world, man. We are man. Well, oh man, bro. That's what we see in the world, and that's what people are programmed to. Bro, is man, social engineering is a motherfucker. If you understand the philosophical aspect of social engineering, like man, that man, I ain't trying to get too deep. I ain't trying to get Charlie Kirk, but we ain't about to get into that. But well, y'all just focus on self, man. Cause you can't do nothing. Look, you can't control shit outside you, right? You can't control nobody. You can't control nothing outside yourself. But if you can control yourself, then nothing outside you can control you. You can determine your destination. You can determine how things are done in your life. And the more you do that, you inspire other people to do it. You inspire other people to do it. Like you know how I know um, when I began to teach like my mother and father the things I knew. I knew at that point I was doing. I ain't gonna say something special, but I knew I was on the right path. When a student can become the teacher, when you can teach the people who's teaching you, that's how you know you doing something. Uh, That's how I knew I was on the right path, right? When I can actually offer my elders information and wisdom, and I appreciate my mother and my father so much because they always encouraged and inspired me, and they was always humble enough to listen to me. They was always humble enough to listen to me. So to me, I think every generation should strive to make the next generation better. Right? I truly believe that. I don't see the purpose of not doing that. I think that's more beneficial. If we want the world to be better, not only do we have to do things to make it better, but we have to prep the generation under us to be better. Because I just feel like in the last 30 years, I don't think we truly have been advancing. I don't think so. I think we're going backwards now in society in general. Um, it's like we going back. I ain't gonna say to the caveman, but it was a portion of time where compassion, character, integrity, morals, and values, these things were highly valued, right? And nowadays it's like a novelty. It's like a novelty. You almost punished for having that, right? You almost punished for having integrity. You almost punished for having morals, for doing the right thing. You get punished for it. And that's the sad thing in our society. And like me being a father, I'd be thinking like, um, I don't want my son to be swallowed up or my daughter to be swallowed up by the world, but I don't want them to be a problem either, So it's a balance, what was I listening to today? But I heard something that my grandfather told me back in the day. He said even light has shadows, right? And what he meant by that, it was like even though you have a bright light, it casts a shadow. That's its counterpart. That's a part of the light. Well, that's a part of whatever the light is touching is that shadow. It's a part of it. It's not about eliminating the shadow. It's about complementing. So our light and dark side has to complement each other because at some point we might need that darkness, and if we eliminate it and it ain't there, we need it. Then that's when we get devoured. That's just reality, you know. I mean, like I practice spirituality, right? I believe in spiritual warfare. I believe in all that, right? But at the same time, I didn't train myself. So if I had to knuckle up with somebody, I'm gonna be all right. you know, I ain't one of the people that ask God to get me out of situations. I feel like God gave me all the tools I need to get out the situation. And if He ain't giving me the tools, He gave me the opportunity to develop the tools. And I just don't think people do that. I mean, I know some spiritual people, they just focus on the spiritual aspect, like, but you are a divine being having a human experience, meaning you aren't just the spiritual, you're the physical too. It's two aspects to you. You got to bring those into concession to be whole. Like I say, I always told people the Trinity, mind, the soul, and the completion is the mind and the soul integrating into the body. Is the mind, so that'd be the soul and the spirit integrating into the body and becoming one. That's your Trinity: the Father, the Mother, the Son, the Father, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. When all three of those things come, you become whole. You become the whole spirit. But we people don't come together because they not even aware that these things have to merge. And that's like me being on this earth. That's the whole process. That's the whole reason is to merge that, to resonate, to go back to the higher plane. If not, you get caught in the cycle. You get caught in the cycle, man. I don't want to get too woo woo with y'all, but that's what it do, and that's what it is, man. That's what it do, and that's what it is. But yeah, so that's my question to y'all. What can I do? What can I talk about? What can we um what can I produce to help y'all? What y'all want to talk about, man? I like talking about a lot of different things. But my niche is behavior, is understanding, comprehending. I can even translate some things. But I use different tools like psychology, philosophy. That's what I use now. And that's all from a practical sense. Like I'll be able to break it down so you can use it. That's how I mean, if y'all been rocking with me, I know a lot of the shit I say is simple until you practice it, until you do it. Shit, I make it sound simple, but when you start doing it, you be like, this shit hard. Like even talk about emotional intelligence. How many of y'all practiced that since I brought that concept? That y'all heard me talking about it. How many people been practicing it? Shit ain't easy, man. It's not easy. And it's levels to it, right? You might not be triggered when somebody say something, but you might get triggered when somebody do something. You might throw all that emotional awareness out the window. And if you don't have emotional awareness, you can't regulate the emotion. You're not even aware of it. You're acting capricious. You're being reactive. You have to have the awareness to regulate, right? But most of the time when we are emotional, we don't think about it until after the fact. When we done calm down, now we like, damn, we tripped. I could have handled it this way, could have did it that. In the moment, you ain't thinking about that shit. It's hard, but the more you practice it, the easier it becomes. And you'll be in the moment thinking like, man, this motherfucker trying to trigger me. Man, fuck you. I'm gonna get the fuck away from you. That's how it started with me. Like, oh, I see what you're doing. I see what you do. As soon as I felt the emotion, you know why? I knew they was doing it on purpose. Or I ain't gonna say doing it on purpose. But you know how I know people emotionally trigger me? Because I wasn't feeling like this until I start interacting with your ass. Now I feel all emotional. It's because of you. It's because of this interaction. Now, when you get to the root of it, they just touched something that I was insecure about. That's why I got emotionally triggered. But it was the interaction I had with that person. You have to become aware. It's steps to it. Okay, I know how I feel, but I need to know why I feel. I need to be aware of why I feel like this. So if I know my triggers, I can create solutions when I get triggered. I can have a fail safe. Like if this happened, I know to step back, take some deep breaths, then come back and re-engage. It's different practices you can use like that, but you have to be aware. And most people when they in their feelings, they ain't aware of it until they out of their feelings. Hmm. Now I can do that. Deep dive into the history of religion. I can do that because most people don't know. Like it's different. I like they say. Like you had Greek mythology, which is a form of religion, Norse mythology. All those are polytheistic religions, so those existed. Then you have to go into like the Yoruba in Africa, where those were more spiritual practice, but the way they were explained was religion. Like a lot, like when you hear the term deity, you got to go back to the origin of the term deity. It was divine principle, and that divine principle had a representation, meaning a figure. And they use anthropomorphism because that's how they taught people. So they use a human aspect, but the people who was practicing it didn't look at it as a god. That was just how they told the story to explain it to other people. So fast forward to where modern day they look at deities as these people worship these gods, and that's not the point. Those gods represented a divine principle. So, like looking in Egypt, you got all these uh, human-like figures with animal heads, right? So people think, oh, these people was running around worshiping these animal head did. No, they wasn't. Those were divine principles. The animal head represented the animal, uh, the wisdom of the animal or the nature of the animal. The human body represented the human instinct or the human aspect. So that's how they taught people. They had to relate it to something that they knew, which was the animal nature and the human body, to explain the divine principle behind it. Because the hawk represents this and they attached it to a human. That's how they related it back to them. You should inspire to be like this. You should inspire to be like that. These are, that's how that, so it wasn't like they was worshiping God and stuff. No, those were divine principles and those deities represented that principle. But you learn that through because I thought the same thing. You know why? Because people told me that shit. But when I start practicing it, it was something different. It's like, oh, like you going. I'm actually practicing with people who practice this shit, and they like, nah, bro, this ain't no God. This is a divine principle. Heru represents this. A star and a set represents this. So no, they didn't believe in this as a physical aspect. It was a metaphysical aspect. And then they turned it into the whole anthropomorphism where they made. That's why I asked that question: did God make man or did man make God? Because if you use anthropomorphism, if you're explaining God from an anthropomorphism aspect, then that means man made God. But yeah, that's dope. How about we do a show on the history of psychology and people like Sigmund Freud? Oh, that'd be dope. I love Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud is fucking. He's an animal of his time, man. Definitely is an animal of his time because he didn't give a fuck what nobody thought. Sigmund Freud was Sigmund Freud was a bad motherfucker, bro. But like even psychology, like I said, if you look at the etymology of psychology meant study of the soul. So at first they was study what they understood as emotions came from the soul. Um, and I mean, technically, people still practice that, and I think that's a accurate way. I believe emotions are the language of the soul. That's how we understand how our soul feels about the outside stimulus. Things happening on the outside reflect on how we feel on the inside about it. You know, we can equate ego to that and all that, but ultimately, emotions, feelings is something different from emotions. If you know the difference between emotions and feelings. Emotions uh, um, are rapid. Emotions change quick. Feelings are prolonged emotion. So emotions are just a stimulant, like something is like an indicator. Like, hey, this shit ain't right. Hey, is actually, and the longer we have to talk about that. We have to talk about that. Difference between emotions and feelings. Ain't that something? Deep dive into the difference between the religion and spirituality. Yeah, see that's the thing. I don't really. I think it's so. I mean, a deep dive in it. I don't know if I can't be concise about it. I mean, to deep dive in it, I have to be less concise, and I don't know if I can because it's kind of straightforward. It's literally, I mean, they conflict with one another. It's like yin and yang. It's like positive and negative. I mean, people. I believe uh, when religion came out of spirituality, but it was for a reason. It was people who didn't have that inner connection, so they had to connect with something outside of themselves to feel good about the inside of themselves. But even the practice and the rituals, mm, people doing blood sacrifices and shit. Mhm. That's rituals. That's religion. There ain't no blood sacrifices and no spirituality system. And if it is, it was influenced by religion. But yeah, I see that religion and spirituality deep down in deep down in. I can whip something up. I'm gonna start doing videos in a minute too. I'm gonna do like I want to. I gotta hit you up probably tomorrow, Gary. But I gotta structure it 9 minutes or less. I want to do videos 9 minutes or less. Just hitting all. That's how I'm gonna market the video. Like when I look, man, look. My wife think I'm insane because like when I have an idea, I start making a marketing plan for it. And that's just because of I guess, my experience. I did a little dabbled in marketing. It was multi-level marketing. It wasn't like I went to school for marketing or nothing like that. People get into multi-level marketing shit. But it's the information I extracted from it. The psychology behind it always amazed me. That's why I was so hooked into it because it was multi-level marketing. Like when you selling a product or it's the psychology behind a sale that interests me. And that's why I was like so hooked into it. But even when I think of an idea, I think of how do I market this idea? How do I get this idea? How do I get people to be interested in this idea I'm creating? You know. So yeah, I start devising a marketing strategy and shit for it. My wife be like, "What are you doing?" Like, "Oh, you weird, bro." Have a good night, Nene. I appreciate you, sis. I appreciate you. We ain't gonna be on too much longer. I ain't gonna be on too much. Anybody hit the link? Anybody in the back? My bad. I walked away from laptop for a minute. Anybody in the back? Yeah, but I don't think this is what I say because I don't like separation, because if you're religious or spiritual, I still believe we can build together. So I don't like separating, and I honestly feel like that religion is for some people. It makes some people better people. It really do. I know people who are religious, and it made them a better person because they found religion. It gave them structure and discipline. So religion is good. It can be good for people. It can give them the structure and discipline that they need. It can give them a set of morality. Um, so religion can be good. Like I said, it's all about how it's used, man. It's all about how it's used. I just encourage people to practice it, to really live that shit, bro. And that's how you get the benefits from it is by doing it, not just reading it. Most people know things, right? And at best that's cognitive information. You're just aware of it, bro. But do you comprehend it? Understanding is awareness. Comprehension is knowing. So you have to know it. And once you know it, I'm telling you, bro, you don't even be interested in arguing with certain people. If it ain't for them, it ain't for them. That's how I feel about like the way I practice what I practice. If it ain't for you, it ain't for you. I ain't got time to sit here and try to make it for you. I'm not interested. I'm too busy letting it work for me. I had this lady today. I went and picked up my son, and my eyes wasn't working good. And she heard me tell my son, like, help me through here so I can, it was a bunch of people waiting for their kids. She heard me tell, she was like, you need help? And I'm like, yeah, I'm legally blind. She was like, oh my God, you are? I never noticed. She said, you move around. I said, I can see. Is there some days is good, some days is bad? She was like, you got such a positive attitude. And I'm like, I'm thinking like, why wouldn't I? I'm alive, shit. But some people go through less and they be bitter about what they going through or their conditions or circumstances in life. And like having a positive attitude in this day and age is almost taboo. You hear more people complaining instead of being grateful for things, right? And I mean, I got difficulties, but I'm pretty sure everybody listening to this got difficulties in their life too. So what makes me so much better or even worse than what other people are is my attitude, the way I look at it. And it's a choice. I can be bitter and mad and upset, especially how everything occurred. I can be bitter and mad, but why? For me, it's not. It's no benefit in that. I mean, that sounds simple and easy, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? I had to understand why things occurred and why it's happening, and once I did, I accepted. You know, just accepting what you are and who you are now, and I can add to it. Like I was just telling my wife when I first lost my eyesight, I knew I couldn't see. I only had a line of sight. I can only see straight with one eye, right? So when it first happened, I used to move my head around to see things, right? It's been like 4 or 5 years now. It's been 5 years. So now I've over the time I just began to move my eye, and now my eyes always wandering around, but I don't have to move my head as much, so it's not as noticeable. But when it first happened, oh, it was very noticeable. I'm trying to. They're like, damn, what the fuck wrong with you? Why your head moving like that? But now I didn't adapt it, and now I can just move my eye around without, I still got to move my head sometimes because if I don't, I won't have a direct line of sight. But most of the time, like if it's right in front of me, I can just move my eye around. But that's adapting to the situation. Instead of me complaining about it, I did something about it. And that's what most people, I don't know. I guess they have a hard time doing it, adapting to their circumstances. People have trouble adapting to the circumstances they're in. You live it, it becomes your experience, your testimony. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I mean, life is meant for the living. Life is meant for you to live it, not it live you. And most people just, I don't know, man. I don't know. I used to feel sorry for people who didn't try. I used to, but then it's like if they're not trying, then what's the purpose? How is me feeling sorry for them go benefit? I just don't see me feeling sorry for anybody. I have compassion. I will console people. I will comfort people, but I don't see the benefit of feeling sorry for people. I can't even feel sorry for myself. I don't know. Maybe that's why that psychologist said I was a psychopath. He thought I didn't have empathy. It's not the fact that I don't have empathy. I just don't have to express it to people. Like I can look at a person's circumstances and say, "Hey, that's messed up. That's unfortunate," and I can even help the person if I'm capable. I can help the person. I just don't feel like I don't feel the need to feel bad for them. I don't feel the need to feel bad for people. I think it's the whole concept of actually feeling bad. Like I don't like feeling bad in general. So why would I feel bad for someone else's circumstances? I don't like the feeling of feeling bad. I don't like that the way it feels. Right. So I choose not to feel that. And if I do, I try to get rid of it as quick as possible. I'm not saying I never feel bad, but when I do, I get rid of that feeling as quick as possible. But I just don't see the need of feeling bad. It's no benefit. I don't know. Maybe I'm like maybe I am a psychopath. I don't know. I might be a highly functioning psychopath. That's what the doctor said. I don't know. Maybe it was right. You know. But I will do things to help people. I will do things to benefit people. I just don't feel the need to feel bad for 'em. But I can, like, I am very emotional aware of not only myself but other people. I am very considerate when it comes to other people, the way other people feel. Very considerate. Amanda, are you laughing at me? Like, if a person need a hug, I give them a hug. You know, I don't mind giving a person a hug. I just don't want to feel bad for people. I just don't see it. Is that crazy? Is that crazy? Do y'all think after reviewing the videos of Psychopath and Dark Triad and all that, do y'all think that's a psychopathic trait? Like I said, I feel empathy. Like, but you know what? I say this though, like this. When people are happy, I be happy for them. I be happy for people. I just don't like that's a good feeling. I like feeling happy. So I will feel happy for other people when they like accomplish things. I've never been jealous of people. Never felt jealousy. I can honestly tell, and I've been in situations where I thought I was weird because I'm like, damn, like when you tell somebody something, they'd be like, "Did that make you mad?" I'd be like, "No." Did that make you jealous? I'd be like, "No," and they'd be like, "That's weird," and I'm like, "No, I just took it for what it was." Like, I give you an example. When I was younger, I used to go to Pennsylvania, and my dad was married to another woman, and she had a kid. And this one year, they told my mom, like, "Yeah, we're gonna go school shopping for him." So I went down there and I got a pair of shoes, two outfits. I think a pair of shoes and two outfits, right? Now he got a shit ton. He got like three or four pair of shoes. He got I don't know how many outfits he got, but everything he had, I had. Like we didn't have nothing different, and I didn't get that much. I only got a pair of shoes and two outfits, but the exact same thing I had, he had, and more. And I was like, damn, that's I'm like, I just knew it wasn't right. I'm like, that ain't right. But it didn't make me mad. It didn't make me upset. And I think because I knew when I got home, my mama was gonna do her damn thing because she always did. We always went to Canada to that outlet. I don't even know the name of, it, but it's an outlet. We used to always go there, and we'd come home with a shit ton of clothes or two because the money was American money was more than everything was cheaper over there. So I knew like, okay, I got this. So I was grateful for what I got. But I knew when I got home, my mom was gonna take me to school shopping. I was gonna get more shit anyway. And I was gonna get better shit because there's like the Ralph Lauren outlet was out there. I didn't wear Tommy Hilfiger. The Timberland outlet was I mean every year I get like two or three pair of Timberlands. And I'm talking about we was getting them for like $20 a piece. Like $20 a pair. So my mom spent like $500 on me and my two sisters. Well, she spent about 1,500 on all three of us, but we'd come back with tons of shit. And I did not know we were smuggling that stuff back until I got older. But yeah. Mm. But yeah, but stuff like that, when I seen other people get stuff that I didn't get, it didn't make me jealous. I used to wonder, like, why do they get that and I don't? But then my grandma, but see, my grandma was a very religious person. And she used to always tell me, what's for you is for you, and what's for other people is for them. So don't worry about what they get. Just be grateful for what you got, because even though they got more, you blessed to have what you got. She used to always, you know, drill that in my head. And I guess that's just a template that I had since I was younger that never allowed me to be jealous. I guess that's it, because I always looked at that. And I always looked like if somebody got something, that means it's obtainable. But she used to always tell me, if they did it, that means you can do it. You might have to work harder. It might take you longer, but if they did it and you want to, you can do it too. They just showed you it can be done. She used to always tell me that. So I never looked at what other people did or got and wanted it. I just knew it was possible because they did it. The new favorite topic. Oh, psychopath. Yeah, psychopaths used to interest me, but now I'm like real deep into Machiavellianism, because I don't think Machiavellianism is bad. I just think it can be used in a negative way. But I see a lot of positivity in Machiavellianism. I used to see a lot of positivity in being a psychopath, but that's when I was younger and my brain wasn't fully developed. I used to think it was but having lack of empathy changes your perception, and you don't value life. It's hard. I don't see a way you can actually value life if you don't have empathy. Like the lives of other people. I don't see a way you can actually, the only way you can value another's life without empathy is what the person um can contribute, like what the person can offer. That's the only way I can see you can value another human life without empathy. But with empathy, you can not only the potential of what they can become, but just their existence. You with empathy, you appreciate just the existence of the life. Not only the potential, but just the existence. You understand all life is precious. With empathy. So yeah, the lack of psychopaths. I used to think, because when you've been through so much trauma, you get to the point where you get numb, like where you don't want to feel no more. You don't want to feel the pain, the hurt. You don't want to feel it. So you want to shut your emotions off. I did that for a portion of my life, probably about for like 4 or 5 years, like where I just shut my emotions off, where I wouldn't allow myself to feel anything. And I'm not gonna lie to you. It, I was more productive in work, like working at the hospital. I was more productive. It wasn't about nothing about feelings, or it was just about getting the job done. So if a person died, then they died. On to the next one. And everything was, it was just a job. It wasn't no compassion involved. I didn't care about how they felt, or nah, we got to do this and get them in, get them out. Next one in, out. Next one in, out. I was more productive. I ain't gonna lie to you. Psychopaths, um, psychopaths can be very effective and efficient in the business world, because they would make decisions not thinking about, um, they make decisions without emotion. If it's good for business, it's good for business. Hey, why? What it do with the business is? Appreciate you, fam. Appreciate you. What up, Nat? It's some psychopaths. Um, they highly effective and efficient in the business world. Mm. In politics too. I think they'd be highly effective in politics too. I think narcissists, they excel at like entertainment, like movie stars and shit like that. I think they excel at that. I think Machiavellians, I think they can succeed in any aspect of life, but especially politics and economics. That's what I was saying earlier. Like our society reward those type of behaviors and personality. Today's society, they reward people like that. They reward them. Hey, Miss Ahmad, I seen Breakfast Taco. What did he do? His he was live before I went on. I think he's still alive, but he was saying that your God is improbable or something like that. And I was interested on the prompt, and so I went in there and I wanted to hit the link, but I was about to start the show. Uh, but yeah, I think I can go in there and argue religion with them. I've been listening to them long enough, but I think their premises on why God don't exist is easy. I think it's easy to attack. Because the way they argue it is always from like a doctrine standpoint. The way they argue God don't exist is from a doctrine standpoint, and that can be flawed because of misinterpretation, not quite understanding. But from a practical standpoint, like think about this, right? We like when they talk about science, right? Science is observable, right? When have we ever created something out of chaos and it formed order? I have never seen that. Something created from a chaotic standpoint and it naturally formed order. That would be a principle in science, but we can't observe that. But you can theorize it, right? A theory is not a fact. Anything that we can observe that's created has structure and it has a creator. So that in itself, I wouldn't describe the creator in an anthropomorphic way as they do, like as most religious people do, but I can create something and it may take you 15 to 20 years to understand how I created it if it's something new, right? And most things that we understand, like quantum physics, all that, it's structured perfectly. Like everything has to match or align perfectly for it to have relevance. So even that shows like it's a designer, something or someone designed it. So, but when you start describing God in an anthropomorphic way, that's when it take away the fact that it can't be observed. You can't observe. We can't observe God with our five senses. We can't observe it, but we can observe the creations of God with our five senses. Yeah, I mean, science explains God, math explains God, philosophy explains God, psychology, all this shit. It's just the way we was trying to explain God creation. All these different methodologies or practices or um, they all really religions anyway. All that shit is religion. But all of it. It was just a way to interpret the creation of God. It's to get an understanding. That's the only thing we can hope to do is understand God or the divine. I like to say the divine creator. No, there's there's a verse in the Bible where it states that God said, "My people will be destroyed for lack of knowledge of me," like not, lack of knowledge of God. You know, the people will be destroyed. So what when I read that, and I like, because people always say, God said, let me show y'all that real quick. I think I showed it before, but I want you to read the whole thing, and I'm gonna give you some context to it. Oh, Bible for you. Let's go to the Bible for you. Okay. I don't like some of these translations. I mean, most people familiar with King James translation, so let me just make sure I get the King James. King James. What? King James, King James, King James. So this is like what people always quote. My people will be destroyed from lack of knowledge, right? And usually people stop at that and say, "Oh, God said you'll be destroyed for lack of knowledge," right? That's not what it says. It says because you have rejected knowledge. Knowledge means knowing, like, but knowledge is the process of knowing things. I also reject you as my priest because you have ignored the law of your God. So he was saying, like, even we have to get into um, the Hebrew word of priest, because in Hebrew, like people just look at the word, but that's not how Hebrew was written. Hebrew was written in what they call characters, and each character had a meaning, and that meaning summed up the word, or the meaning created the word. So the first two characters in priest in Hebrew means teacher of, and it's like the teacher of God's law. But associate priest to teacher in this context, like so people who teaching the word of God, this is who he was rejecting, right? Because you have ignored the law of your God, and I also ignore your children. So God created everything. The essence of God is within everything. So everything is God. Is nothing without God. So not knowing God is not knowing self, right? When we talking about um, when we getting into the allegorical aspect of knowing God, it's not just knowing what they say God is, but understanding the creations of God. Knowing is knowledge of. So it's not just knowing what God is, but the essence of God in totality. Everything is divinely connected through the creation or the spirit of God. Everything. Nature, humans, animals. So not knowing God, even knowing God's grace, knowing God's wrath, knowing God's law, not knowing these things, not understanding these things, not being aware of these things, but you will be destroyed for not knowing. And that's like this is was so profound to me because to know you have to ask. To know God, you got to ask what God is. And the more I ask what God is, the more I got examples. I see God in nature. I see God in science. I see God in all creation. When you ask what is God, you get examples. You see how things are intricately put in place. And if you take one thing out, everything falls apart. That means it was designed. I mean, it was all designed. Designed by who? By the creator. We was told. I think it's hard for people to accept God or the ideology of God because if they do, they feel insignificant. I truly think that. Like humans are ignorant as fuck. I'm not gonna like motherfuckers think we the only thing in the universe. Like you, if you think about space, right? This is like one of the most ignorant as one of the most ignorant as. Oh my god, I hate when people say this. But I asked somebody, I said, "You believe in aliens?" No. You think we the only thing in this whole universe? Like the way you just said how vast space and shit, you think we the only thing? We the only intelligent life? Yeah. Like, you an arrogant fucker. Like we are just learning things. We're still learning fucking things. We're just we're just now discovering things. And you want to believe we the most advanced civilization ever known? Like fuck out of here, man. That shit don't even make sense. If it is, it's fucking sad. And there's no hope for this world. There's no hope for life. If we the most advanced civilization ever lived, there's no fucking hope for life. There's no hope. Motherfuckers think, well, why haven't we seen it? Bro, we only got five fucking senses. We got animals that have more senses than us. The fuck is wrong with you? Motherfucking animals saying in night vision, we limited to like, come on, man. There's animals out here that got better attributes than us. Stronger, faster. We can say we smarter because we got conscious level of thinking. Okay, I can accept that. We're smarter than all animals. I can't. I'm not gonna argue that. I know Mr. Mind can, and if I wanted to, I probably could, but I'm not gonna argue. I will give that. I have to give the human species something, right? We're the smartest creation. Okay, I give us that, but we definitely not the best. We're definitely not. We got too many flaws. We find intelligent life on Earth. Where exactly? That's why folks were missing my where. But like we have to see it to believe. We have to. Okay, okay. Well, if the aliens, if there, I heard somebody say this. If there was really aliens, why didn't they come here? How often do you go fuck with a beehive? How often? How often do you go fuck with a beehive? You go into the woods and see a beehive, like, hey, let me go introduce myself to the bees. How often do you go fuck with the ant? If I was an alien, why the fuck would I fuck with y'all? Why would I? Lower fucking intelligence. Like to even communicate with y'all is I'm wasting my time when I can be out doing some really intelligent shit, like traveling the fucking creating. Why I wouldn't? I would stay far away from fucking human if I was an alien. I would. What's the purpose? We violent as hell to ourselves. So if something come out the sky, first thing we're gonna do is try to blow it up. If we see something coming out the sky, what did like they just said? Well, we shot missiles. Like, come on, bro. Like, man, look, think about this, man. If something came out the sky, I'm not trying to shoot at that shit. I'm pretty sure if this goddamn thing was able to come from another planet or universe or something, I'm pretty sure the shit that I got ain't gonna fuck with it. They get way more advanced technology. What the fuck is a missile gonna do to a spaceship? Like, think about this shit, right? Like, these motherfuckers traveling through the galaxy and shit, and you gonna try to shoot it down with some book? Like, come on, man. That's how fucked up. That's how humans think. Oh, we're gonna shoot it down. We're gonna take over. We're gonna dump. That's how we think. We do that shit to animals. Motherfuckers, like, this shit weird. What the fuck am I gonna go hunt a lion for? Why would I go hunt a lion? That damn thing ain't bothering me, but I'm gonna go hunt it. Only reason I would hunt a lion if I was like in a village and it kept coming in fucking up village. Okay, now we gotta eliminate it. It's coming to fuck with us. It's either us or them. That's how it be. But just I'm bored and I live in America. Let me get on a plane, fly to Africa and go hunt fucking lions. Like that's how people think. Why? Because they want to. Oh, it's a big beast and I dominated it. No, you use the gun. Go fight it one on one and see what happens. Go fight a lion barehanded and see what happens. Then you a bad motherfucker. But you take a gun and shoot it, that ain't no, that don't impress me. What up, Nine and Tech Soul? What up, Soul? Why haven't we seen any evidence of aliens? First of all, I know motherfuckers only had limited experience in life for their perception. Do you really think it's classified files, right? Who the fuck say we ain't have no alien encounter if it's shit classified? It's shit that regular humans do that they classify the information. So if something came out the fucking sky, why wouldn't they classify it? Especially if it's some type of benefit to it. Motherfuckers be thinking like they significant. They really think they special. Like they supposed to know or get all information. No, like it's literally it's documents that say classified information. Well, they have to. They ain't gotta do shit. They gonna tell you what they want you to know, and leave it at that. If you believe it or not. Look, bro, they told you Charlie Kirk got shot in the neck with a 30-06. If motherfuckers believe that shit. You know why? Because they don't have an experience with a 30-06. Almost, but I remember I had a 308 and shot a fucking tree and put a big ass hole in a tree, a big ass tree, put a big ass hole in it. You talk about shooting a human in the neck with a 30-06, damn head would have came off. Just the velocity of the bullet. See, people don't even know how bullets work. When you bullets travel faster than the speed of sound. The velocity that the bullet carries does way more damage than the fucking bullet itself, especially when it enters tissue. It's thermodynamic, the carrying force. So that expansion and explosion, that's how the explosion occur with a bullet. It's through the thermodynamics, it's through the velocity of the bullet is traveling. The whole point of the bullet is to pierce and to enter. That's the whole concept of the bullet. But it's the velocity to fuck everything up. That man got hit in the neck with a 30-06. His shit would have been on. His neck would have been hanging by a string, if anything. If it didn't come completely up, that shit would have been hanging by a string. They tell you whatever they want you to know. If you like it or not, you complain and bitch about them lying, they will keep doing it. They told you Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. After they went over there and fucked up Iraq, they said, oops, no, he didn't. Oh, shit. Like, goddamn, for real? He ain't really had that? Nope. We got bad intel, but we still unalived them. Like, oh, damn, for real? And then, you know, the Twin Towers got hit by airplanes, but the shit imploded. And they told you it imploded because of the gasoline. Like, this, this, this how I know. This how I know motherfuckers don't think, right? I'm just being honest. This how I know people don't think. They told you the plane hit the building and exploded, and the gasoline leaked down and made the beams melt. Like, hold on, bro. If the plane hit the building and exploded, where the fuck the gasoline come from? Didn't it explode with the plane? Like, what the fuck? Well, no, what it did was when it exploded, it turned to what did they call it? It was like the gasoline leaked and melted, like it melted. Like, bro, I seen a car blow up before. Right, boom, seen a car blow up, and what ignited was the gasoline. That's what made the explosion. So how did something hit a building, explode, and leak liquid gasoline to melt the beams? That's how they try to explain the building imploding because the building fucking imploded. You just watch the demolition video, you can see it for yourself. It imploded. It didn't explode. It didn't topple over. The top half of the building didn't fall over, and you still had a portion of the building because the explosion knocked the top half off. That's how explosions work. Wherever it explodes, it's go explode. It takes some shit under it, but the shit ain't go fucking implode. That shit dropped from the bottom. Boom, 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 boom. That shit almost look like demolition. Miss Tracy, what up, though? Run what I eat. What up, fam? What up, fam? But that's how that happened. But they tell you whatever they want you to know, bro. And they don't care. You go take it or leave it. I ain't arguing with them. I ain't arguing with them. But that's how that be, man. That's how that be. So you got to think for yourself. Because if you don't, other people will think for you. That's why I don't be so quick to put myself in a box. Because once you're in there, now you're confined to the ideology of that box. You have to accept the good and the bad that that box offers, right? And that's you participating. You know, you have to. That's part of being in this box. You're accepting what the box, the good and bad that the box has to offer. So even if you don't agree with it, you still got to roll with it, or you can't be included in this box. That's why I enjoy living outside the box because I have no restrictions. I'm not restricted. You know, that's why like it's this thing. I don't know if y'all into it, but it's this thing about black conservatives, right, on social media. And I like to understand the mindset of the psychology behind why people do the things they do. And I don't agree with none of the parties. I don't fuck with neither one of them. Left, right, up, down. I don't fuck with none of them. Right? None of these parties represent me, but it's really um, eye opening to me uh, for a lot of these black conservatives, like to hear the arguments that they pose because they be talking against their own best interest. And I think it's because, and a lot of times they do that is because of the construct of what a conservative is. A lot of it is behind the concept, and they have to agree with this or agree with that. And it always interests me to hear it because, like I said, the way they argue it is they argue against their own best interest. Um, and I think it's a better way to articulate it. I just think that they're confined with the ideologies, and that's all they know to present or how to present. You know, um, yeah, but it's always like that. It interests me to hear. I'm trying to. I don't know one who can articulate the conservative ideology without arguing against their own best interest. I haven't heard one person do it yet. Not Candace Owens. That I'm talking about far as YouTubers. I don't know like uh the actual like Ben Carson. Even Ben Carson, he argued against his own. He sounded stupid when he did it because then he started talking about how he grew up in Detroit, and it's like, bro, you the same thing that they say the problem is. You just said you the problem, and you even showing like yeah, you bragging about it, like you bragging about stabbing somebody over a belt buckle, like bro, like ain't you supposed to be beyond that now? Like you should be telling how uh you overcame that type of behavior, but you bragging about it like you still about that life. So yeah, Ben Carson was a weird cat. He was a weird cat. Um, I don't know what Judge Joe Brown is, but I think I like the way Judge Joe Brown is critical on black people, but it's constructive criticism. He don't in my opinion, like if you listen to the context of what he's saying. He might use harsh words at times, but I don't think he beat down the black community. I don't think he beat down or shrugged his nose down on black people. But he will be critical and he will tell you you fucking up, which I don't think is a problem. I just think how you do it. He don't do it from a general aspect neither. But I don't know what Judge Joe Brown is. I don't know what he is. But yeah, it's always interesting hearing the black conservatives try to argue. Motherfuckers go as far as saying slavery was needed. Like, come on, bro, you tripping now. Slavery was a good thing, but nah, you tripping. Well, yeah, I think like I think I'm pretty critical on I can be critical on my people, and I should be. You know, I think I'm just critical on all people. I don't really think it's a color thing. I think people just ignorant as fuck. I don't. It don't matter what color you are. Ignorance is ignorant. Ignorance is mm, I don't think ignorance is subjugated to one specific race or ethnicity. I don't. Ignorance is universal. Where's the duality? Where's the faith? Hmm. Commander is running out. My faith in humanity is running out. I don't know if I got much left. I just don't see. I just don't see society as a whole getting better in my lifetime. I don't. I don't see. We just going more backwards and backwards and backwards. I mean, I just don't see it. I don't and like just understanding. Like, look at human history, bro. When has humans ever really got along? Like through recorded history, it's always been wars, and fights, and people doing vile shit like putting people into slavery and shit. All this shit always existed since mankind and since we've been recording. It's always been like that. And I mean, by now we ain't figured it out. So I don't know when this gonna get figured out. I think this is just like the natural order. I think it's a natural order. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But look, I don't know if I want no spaceship coming to get me. I'm straight. Mm-mm. I don't know what's out there. It might be worse than this. You get on one of them alien spaceships, they might turn your ass inside out. Mm-mm. It might become a real battery. Use your ass as a battery. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't. I think utopia is a feel good. I don't really think there's no such thing as the utopia. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you gotta go Amish, but they got their drama too, man. I know some Amish people who left the Amish community and they was like, man, that shit ain't what you think it is. That shit, like, I had this one Amish dude. He said, "Man, that shit like a cult." He said, "That's the best way I can explain it, like a cult." And I was like, "Damn, for real?" He was like, "Man, they be doing crazy shit on the farm." I'm like, "Oh, bruh." Then you start hearing the shit about the Mormons. I remember when Scientology, when that community came out, that shit was like, they was like, "Oh my god, this is like so great." And then you start hearing horror stories from that shit, like, "Oh, damn, for real?" Well, from recorded history, we ran all the aliens away. They was like, we ain't coming back down there. Them motherfuckers crazy. So they used to come down here, and then they stopped. They like, no, we straight. I don't know why I'm about to drink some coffee, but I just gotta have a capricious impulse to have some coffee. Oh man, where's my scoop at? Scoop, baby, scoop, scoop, baby. Damn, man. Yeah, I probably enough for it. Yeah, but so yeah, I'm gonna work on that. This still probably take me a minute to yeah, I got to see what angle or like Gary said, a deep dive into the difference between religion and spirituality. And then Chris said, do a show like I can do. We can just do a review on Sigmund Freud and understand the origins of psychology. I think that'd be better done as a review. I get a collection of videos and we can review them. It ain't just gonna be any video, so I just don't assimilate small information because it sounds good. I really do not.
due diligence and find some. But that I'm real fickle on who information I use too. So just know that like when I play somebody video, it's for a reason. They done said something that inspired or you know um, gave me like an intrinsic outlook. They don't even go together. They ain't even kind of shit. He gave me like a more defined outlook on the subject. My bad. I'm doing like three things right now. I'm trying to make this cup of coffee. I'm sending. I literally said an intrinsic outlook as I was typing that. I was telling my cousin like my cousin texted me and asked me a question. And I'm like, and I was typing intrinsic and said intrinsic. That's why I was like, hold on, now I need to go. But gave me a more defined perspective of the subject. That's the only time I really review other people's videos is when they said something profound or yeah. Damn, man, I hate confusion. Hey, go. So, but yeah, we definitely do that. Miss Ma said she liked the, behavior stuff. She like, a new favorite subject is psychopaths. I do got some other things that I want to touch on. I don't even know how to explain it, but sometimes it's like I be wanting to present something, but I want it to make sense. So I have to kind of give information prior to that to make it make sense. So I do got a couple um, things I want to touch on as far as like uh, levels of intellect, how we can define or identify like different levels of intellect, like little traits, like something that we can, and then you can look at yourself because like intellect can be grown. Like you don't have to be born smart. You can condition yourself, right? You can learn how to be smart by making things more practical in your life, like using different tools, making them practical. So you can increase your intellectual level. So I'm interested in shit like that because I'm always trying to find ways to be better, do better. So rocking out with y'all, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna offer information like that, and I was just I'm really indulging in that because of my son. Like I'm keeping my son. I'm teaching him how to read and stuff. So I'm trying to find new ways to teach him how to do stuff. So I'm using different methods to see what works for him. And it's like I'm not gonna lie, like the more I work with him, the more I realize like uh I don't want to say it like that. But the more I work with him, I realize how um a lot of this information ain't widely conceived by people. Because you can hear how, like, when I talk to people, I'd be like, I can tell when people can't comprehend, and after a while, I just be like, I'm straight. But I understand now. It's like people's comprehension level. I think they did a study and they said most people comprehend on the eighth grade level, which is sad because it's not hard. It just take effort. It's not hard to comprehend. It do take work, but the more you do it, the easier it become, and the more innate it becomes. But you have to start the process to even get to that level. You know, you have to do it. And I think most people are lazy. They just want to be told stuff and given information versus them bringing it or deciphering the information themselves. I'm swinging. Yeah, yeah. He told me some crazy shit. Like, man, they was using his mama. Man, his daddy died, and when his daddy passed away, all the dudes started using his mama. I'm like, damn, bro. Man, he was like, you know, that she wasn't fighting it, and he was like, I can't deal with that because yeah, Yeah, I heard some wild stories. Wild stories. I'm in swinging. Mm. It'd be funny how people hide behind these different identities to make it seem like they more moral or dignified when they just regular human beings. They just regular human beings and they're subjectable to all the fucked up shit other human beings are. Like you ain't excluded because you nobody excluded from nothing. It's like who was that? I think it was Speak Easy. Yeah, it was Speak. They was doing a debate on should they get rid of jewelry crowd. And a lot of the premises was how, regular people can be corrupted or biased. And who would you rather um and but the way they were speaking it was like that's just a human condition, right? So no matter what you achieve or what you take an oath to, you can still be biased or corrupted. I know from experience. Like I used to think like doctors was these high morality people, and they not. The motherfuckers do drugs and do all the same shit regular ass people do, and I had to see it to believe it. So like when I hear people speak like that, it'd be like just because this person took an oath or obtained this information, now that don't mean shit. They still fucking humans, bro. They still susceptible to the same biasness or hatred that a regular ass person is. That's just an occupation. That's all it is. 'Cause a judge is just occupation. No matter how long they went to school, that don't put them on a moral high ground. That's how we like to think. It feels good to think like that, but that's not reality. Like shit, we see cases where judges and lawyers and all these people are fucking corrupted. So it don't matter. Like it's a human condition. Well, who you trust more? The judges who did it don't matter what they did, what they did, they still fucking human. I don't trust none of them motherfuckers. Not when my life is on the line. I don't care who it is, the judge, nah, bro. I don't trust none of you motherfuckers. The more feel good answer would be the person who has put the time in to acquire the certifications and the ability to do, to be a judge. That's the more feel good answer. But that's not reality. 'Cause they just regular fucking people too. They just regular fucking people. Let me get my big sign off here, man. I appreciate y'all coming through, rocking out with me, man. This was like another vent session. It was a good conversation though, man. Y'all got me in my bag. Y'all really got me in my bag talking my shit, but I appreciate that. Atmosphere, my guy. Because Jesus Christ be perfect. Hey, I felt Buddha too, bro. Buddha was perfect. Well, I didn't say he was perfect. He attained perfect. He obtained perfection. So yeah, those are great characters. I ain't gonna say characters. Great people to aspire to be like. Will you ever reach it? If you believe you can, I believe you will. I think we trick ourselves out of shit by saying, "Oh, we're not perfect." Okay, but that don't mean you can't be perfect. Just because you're not perfect now, don't mean you can't be perfect later. You know, that's how I think, man. Maybe I didn't start off good, but that don't mean I can't be good just because I didn't start off that way. That's how I think. And when it comes to perfection, I think that's something that is attainable if you desire it to be. Is it a lot of effort and work? Hell yeah, because you got to deal with a lot of outside shit. That's why them Buddhist monks go into the mountains and shit and don't deal with nobody else. They go into the mountains like, I ain't fucking with y'all. I'm straight. If y'all stay down there, we gonna be up here panting and humming and flipping and doing all this crazy shit. We gonna do that up here. We ain't gonna deal with y'all down there. They ain't got the same problems. They ain't got them outside distractions. So can a Buddhist monk reach perfection? Hell yeah. Because they isolate themselves. They only got to worry about them. They ain't got no outside. They ain't got too many outside influence where they can focus on just being perfect. They ain't got to worry about nobody calling them an N word or running up on them trying to steal. They ain't got to worry about none of that. Yeah, I ain't trying to be no judge. Man. I am not trying to be no judge. I wanted to be a judge at one point just because of the authority. I used to crave power, and then I understood what power was: control of self. And I still crave it. I still crave to control myself, to master myself, but I don't crave it outside myself. I don't want to control or even, I don't even have the desire to manipulate people. I used to. It used to be fun. It used to be fun. And the reason it was so fun because I was so fucked up on the inside, it made me feel better about fucking other people up. Being honest. Being 100% honest with you. That's how I felt, you know. Just being transparent. It was me projecting my pain onto other people. That's what it was. But when I cleared all that stuff out myself, I didn't have a desire to do so to other people. I don't. Even if somebody putting themselves in a position to be hurt, I'm not trying to hurt them. I'm good. I am good, bro. I'm good. Oh, where I put my glasses at? I just noticed they ain't on my face. Man, I just learned what that was a couple weeks ago. Listen, I seen a video. I was I rocks with Duke Dennis, and he went to a Juggalo. Is it a Juggalo? A Juggalo event, and I'm looking like, man, people do some weird stuff. They asking to see each other buttholes and stuff. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like men asking other men, like, bro, y'all weird as hell. Want to see my butthole? Like, hell no. Something might come out of it. I'm straight, and I'm literally straight. No pun intended. I don't want to see no man butt. We got shit to hang, so you bend over and see a butt, you gonna see some. Yeah, I'm straight. But they just out there doing crazy shit, and then there's women like you can spank her for $1 or something. Like, man, this shit crazy. Yeah, they was doing some crazy shit. That juggalo, is that what you talking about, Ma? That juggalo thing? Yeah, I need to stop looking on the internet because I be finding some weird shit. I was just looking at Duke Dennis page, and he went to. It looked like because I go to the Renaissance Festival. You know, we have the Renaissance Festival come through Michigan. They go through states and stuff, but when they come through Michigan, you know, we go to the Renaissance Festival. So I thought it was like that at first. You see people dressed up, but then you start watching the video. I'm like, hold on, bro. Like nah, bro. But yeah, it's a community called the Juggalos. I would not advise anybody to look it up if you don't know what it is, unless you like weird shit. For $1, I'm telling you. Oh, Jug is a crackhead. Oh, I don't know what it, I didn't know that. I don't know. I think y'all, wherever you at, you got a little different slang than we do. A girl gets a crackhead. I didn't know that. But there's a lot of stuff I be learning from y'all. Cause what was that? What is sprinkles called again? This shit fucked me up when I look on that box of sprinkles. I forgot what name y'all said it was, but Commander, what was what is sprinkles called again? It's called something weird. And when I looked on it, it said it on the damn sprinkle thing, and I'm like, I ain't never seen that. Hold on, let me go look at it now. Jimmy's, yeah, that's what it's called. Jimmy's sprinkles. It's called Jimmy's. I'm like, what? They call sprinkles Jimmy's. I didn't know that. I just learned that a couple months ago. Y'all was talking about Jimmy's and sprinkles and shit. Fun fact. Let me get off here. Y'all gonna have me crack. See, DD, y'all get DD laughing at me, man. Yeah, I'm like, where I'm from, when we say Jimmy's, we talking about condoms. You got a Jimmy? Yeah, we ain't talking about no damn sprinkles. I wish I would. You know how fucked up I'd be if I go to like Dairy Queen and they be like, "Would you like Jimmy's on your ice cream?" I'd be like, "Hell no, I don't want no damn condoms on my ice cream. Fuck you putting a condom on a." I'd be thinking some crazy shit if I heard that. You go to Dairy Queen, they be like, "Hey, you want some Jimmy's?" I'd be like, "Damn, y'all selling condoms in this bitch?" That's what I'd be thinking. I didn't know Jimmy's was called sprinkles. I'm serious, man. I didn't know that. I don't even know why my mind works like that. Next time I go to Dairy Queen, I'm like, hey, can you put some Jimmy's on that for me? Like Jimmy's, like, yeah, y'all don't call, you don't know the proper name for sprinkles, Jimmy? Yeah, Jimmy, doesn't talk to something. Then I can feel all smart and shit talking to people at Dairy Queen. Yeah, let me get some Jimmy's on that. I'm getting off here because I'm getting slap happy. Yeah, I'm getting slap happy, man. I gotta get off here. We gotta do trunk or treat at the kids' school tomorrow, so that ain't till later. I'm just getting off now so I can get some sleep. I ain't got no clients or nothing. I need some new clients. I only got two right now, and I need some money. I'm about to get a roof put on my house. I got to pay this money, so I got to get some new clients. So if y'all know anybody who needs some guidance in life from a life coach, send them my way. I promise you, they'll come back and tell you thank you for introducing them to me. You know, they'll tell you thank you because I get them right and get them paid. But y'all know what I always say: care about how you feel. These are conversations to build nations. And if I say anything to resonate with you, do me a favor, hit that share button. Tell somebody. Help me spread the word. But until next time, we out. Y'all go get some Jimmy.
And do it for the nine.
What up, Nine?
Acknowledge.